Hi, welcome to episode 78 of the Passionate Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. There's a Ravelry group for the podcast. Please come over, join. I do write show notes in there, and we have a lot of knit-alongs going on, so it's a fun place to be. And yeah, thanks for being here. I'm very grateful for everyone who watches. So let's start. I have a lot of things to show and talk about because my last podcast was 12 days ago. So I had a lot of free time on my hands and had a lot of stuff to show. So let's start. First thing, I'm wearing my first thing. I have to stand up and show you. This is the Boxy by Joji Locatelli. It looks like this. I am super happy with how it turned out. I used Wollmeise Twin in a weird different, it's a Unglücksrabe. It's from the first ever sale she did, where I went to a few years ago. And yeah, I love it. It's perfect. So let's talk about this. I did start the sweater before, as the pattern said, but I did wind up a needle size. So I did not use a 4 as the pattern calls for, but a 5. And yeah, that wasn't the best idea. So it was gigantic. I mean, it's supposed to be oversized. As you saw, it is still very big, but it was enormous. And I was up until the place where, divide for front and back. So with the help of my mom and my friend Hella, we unraveled the whole thing. And I did recast on with 40 less stitches, but still with the bigger needles. So I actually think if I just had went for the needle size it calls for and did what it says to do, I would have been fine. But, I tried to be smarter and I'm not. So yeah, it's okay. I'm very happy with it now. It's super warm. I might have to take it off in a minute because it's just, and yeah, so I did a gauge swatch. I'm a very good knitter. I did a gauge swatch. I'm keeping these. I have a bunch of them, and I think about just seaming them together sometime in my future and do either a cushion cover or a blanket for my son's teddy bear. We'll see. So, like I said, I used Wollmeise. I only have 3 of the 4 labels. I have no idea where the last one went. I had 4 skeins to start with, and I did alternate the skeins because they were significantly different. 2 of them were brighter, 2 of them were darker. So yeah, it's just a twin Unglücksrabe because, like I said, I have no idea what colorway it is. And yeah, I used this yarn. I have a lot left over. So I think if I had 3 skeins to begin with, I would have been fine. But yeah, so this is what I have left after my sweater was done. And that is at least 1 full skein. So I'm not sure what to do with it because it's a twin. I could do socks. I'm not sure. We'll see. Maybe I'm going to destash it because, it's a lot. You can actually do stuff with it. Apart from that, I did everything as the pattern says. The only thing I had to do, as I did cast on less stitches than for the smallest size, I had to do a little bit of math to, get the neckline and the shoulders and everything the way it should be. So keep that in mind. If you are going to knit a boxy and you are going to change the stitches, you have to do math up here. So otherwise it just won't work. Good. I think that's it. Apart from casting on less stitches and having to do a bit of math, I did everything as the pattern said. And I love it. I really love it. I think the yarn did some great pooling. And I'm very glad that I did alternate the skeins because otherwise I think the pooling would have been not that pretty. So yeah, we'll see how long I can take it. No, I can leave it on because it's really, really hot. It's a fingering weight sweater, but it's so warm and it's really warm outside. And yeah, we'll see. Now, knitting in the present. I have 2 things on my needles, actively on the needles, I should say. and I forgot to bring one. And it's right there. I'm gonna get it. I was so proud of having gathered everything I needed, and yeah. In my box bag that my friend Martina made for me, I have my current sock project with the needle cozy, my Batman needle cozy from my friend Lori. And in here is, like I said, my current sock. I'm at the heel flap right now. This is the second skein from this series or this collection. I'm not sure what it's called, that I am using this year. The first one was the exact same, you know, black and white and then a bunch of reds. And it was for my shop, and this one is for my shop as well. So I'm not sure yet which size I'm going to make. And the yarn is, again, Butinette Wollbutt Baku. Baku is the line. And I have a third skein that is black and white with blue. And I'm going to make that as well this year for the shop and pop it in. So, like I said, I don't know yet which size this is going to be. I'm knitting with 64 stitches top down on US 2s, like I always do. And yeah, these are going to be for a woman. And I'm going to do possibly somewhere between a German 39 and a 42. But I'm not sure yet which size exactly. So, socks for my shop on the needles. And plain vanilla socks. Just normal. My normal socks. Now, the other thing is way more exciting. And I have a very weird setup today. I need to get all the things okay, now the other thing on my needles is in this bag. It says no sock left behind. I think I got this from my mother or sister-in-law, and I think it's actually a laundry bag that you pop in your luggage when you are traveling. So in here is my current sweater. It is another Joji Locatelli pattern because I'm obsessed with her patterns. I did post a Instagram post yesterday because the first 20 things in my queue on Ravelry are all by Joji, because I just love her things so much. So this is my current sweater. It is the Serenity. It's from the Interpretations book, volume 2. And I am doing this as a gradient sweater. And I have started it last year before fading was cool, you know. And I have faded into my second color. And this is what it looks like so far. When I took it back out of hibernation, I had only knit on the back and I was about here. So it was not a lot. So I did a lot of knitting on this sweater. And yeah, here we are. I have successfully transitioned into my second color. And this is it. I think it's going to be super nice. And I'm sorry, but I have to take this sweater off. I'm sweating so much. It's not pretty. So, better. Okay, now back to this one here. It's the Serenity sweater by Joji Locatelli, and I'm doing it as the pattern says. You know, I didn't try to outsmart her. I'm using US 4 3.5 millimeter needles. It's knit in the round, top down, and like I said, I'm doing this as a gradient faded whatever sweater with 4 different yarns. This was my first yarn. It's from a German indie dyer called Ätherische Öle. And this is how much I have left, and I need this still for a part of both sleeves and for the neckband. This is the second color. It's another German indie dyer called Sockenroller. I'm not sure if her shop is still in existence. The third color will be, well, let's try to hold them all up at once. So the first two. The third one is this one. It's a Wollmeise. The colorway is Xavel und Rosi. And the last color is another skein by Ätherische Öle, which makes this an all German indie dyed sweater. So this is my transition. And the last skein, you might not be able to tell, but it does have some of the purples that are in the Wollmeise skein. So it should be fine in the end. I hope I did my math correctly because, you know, like I said, I started this sweater last year with those 4 skeins. So yeah, I hope I did everything correct. I asked my husband to help me with the math because, you know, math and me, we just don't go together very well. So yeah, I'm working on this. And what I did, I'm not going to open this. Well, I am, but I'm going to take out the crucial part. I have this little pattern keeper by Mad Bird. She's one of my favorite bag makers. I'm not sure if this will focus here. It's Mad Bird. And it is very small. As you can see, it's, I would say, a German A6. And it opens up like this. You have one pouch and one clear pouch. And I have a little piece of paper here. And on the page on the side that's, you know, facing me, I have written down the four row pattern repeat that I have to do for the main body of the sweater. So I'm not carrying my book around with me, but just a small pattern keeper with the 4-row pattern repeat in the clear pouch. So I just have to open it up, lay it next to me, and I have all the information there that I need. And it makes it so much easier because, you know, I don't have to carry around a book with me all the time. So this is, like I said, what I'm working on. I'm going to work in the second color for another, I think, 15 centimeters. Or for 15 centimeters altogether before I have to transition into the next color. That should work. Let's hope it will work. So yeah, this is what I'm going to take into my project bag. And I'm gonna work on this. It's a lot of fun. It's very easy, you know, after you did all the shaping and stuff. It's, like I said, it's a 4-row pattern repeat. And it's, oops. It's very simple, and yeah, it's in my cute project bag, and I'm gonna have to leave it here because I need the stuff that's in this box next to me. Next, so that's it for my knitting in the present. For knitting in the future, I have 2 things. I have talked about one before. I'm gonna show it again because I still really want to knit it. But I have something else planned. So first off, I've showed this before, is the Sunny Side Up. It's a top by Isabel Krämer. She's a German pattern designer. And the yarn that I'm going to use for this is by my friend Sandra. Her shop is called Kunterbunte Wolle, and I am going to link to it in the show notes in the Ravelry group. So this yarn here, these 2 skeins, will be this top. That is going on the needles very soon. When I dug out my Serenity sweater, I actually wanted to start this one, but it was such a cold and wet and day that I didn't really want to knit on a summer top. So yeah, this will be on the needles very soon because this has a second purpose. It's not only going to be very pretty, it's also going to be one part for the outfit along that I'm going to talk about later. So the other thing I want to knit, and this is a case where the yarn came first. I got 2 skeins of yarn from my friend. I'm going to show them. It's these 2 skeins of yarn. Again, from Kunterbunte Wolle, and they are just so nice and gorgeous and so different from what I normally gravitate to that I wanted to not use them for a shawl but for a garment. And I went on Ravelry and I love their advanced pattern search, and I just popped in all the filters that I needed, and I came up with this little cardigan here. It's called Persuading Chain. It is by Nicole Lupke. I have no idea how to say it. I'm not sure if she's German or if she's American and how to say the name, but yeah. She goes by the Restless Knitter. And this is a cropped cardigan. It's buttoned in the front. It has a very deep V-neck, and it has this super cute cabley lace pattern on the back. And I should be fine with these 2 skates. So this is going to be worked on very soon. And I think this is going to be a very nice little cardigan to pop over a dress. And I really want to get more into dresses and skirts, because I'm not really. I'm a jeans all the day, all the time girl. And I kind of want to change that. I want to get more into wearing skirts and dresses and be a little bit more girly, but not too girly. So yeah, my second thing that I want to make in the near future, I think it's going to be super cute. And let's face it, it's going to be really quick because it's just 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn, and it's a cropped sweater with short sleeves. So that's not a whole lot of knitting. Now let's go back to this one here and the outfit along. Andy Satterlund and a sewing blogger, whose name I don't know, they are doing an outfit along, and it is for the month of June and July. And the idea is that you make an outfit. So you knit 1 piece and you sew 1 piece. Both pieces have to be real garments. So you either, they have 2 official patterns. It's a dress pattern, I think from Butterick or McCall's, and a cropped sweater pattern in typical Andy Satterlund style to go over this dress. But you do not have to do the official patterns, and I'm not going to, simply because I like the dress, I like the sweater, but it's not something I would get a whole lot of wear out of. So I decided to go for a normal top, and for the sewing part, I'm going to sew up a pair of jeans. And I'm going to do that in a sewing class that I will attend over the next few weeks. So yeah, I'm very excited for this. So my outfit along entry is a top and a pair of jeans. So let's put these away and let's pop into no spinning, because I just don't want to spin right now, but new stuff. Let's start again with these. These are new. I got them at a knitting meetup, like I said, by my friend Sandra. She has an Etsy shop. It's amazing. You should check it out. And this is her label so far. And this is just normal sock yarn, 80/20. And then I also got a 3rd skein of her yarn, and it's this one, and it's the exact same yarn. It's an 80/20 sock yarn. And this is watermelon yarn. I just couldn't resist this for socks. I'm going to make socks out of this. Now, that's it for her yarn. I also received the last installment of the Irish Yarn Club that I got as a Christmas gift from my husband. And this time the yarn came from the Dublin Dye Company. And it is a mini skein set in a gradient style. It's 5 skeins, 20 grams each. And it says the color is juniper, and the pattern to go with it was, I think, a cowl. I did not open the pattern yet because I first wanted to look at the yarn. And this is the yarn. Like I said, it's 5 mini skeins that are put together in this one skein. It's a gradient. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the cowl or if I want to use it for something else, but I quite like the colors. So, and that sadly was the last of the Irish Yarn Club installments. It smells sheepy, which is good. So yeah, that's the last bit of yarn that I received this week. I also bought a very small sock-sized project bag at the knitting meetup where I was, because it was really cute and I just wanted it. And I don't think that the person who made this has an Etsy shop or anything like it. I do not know. I don't think she does, but I just like the fabric, so I had to get it. Good. Nope, one thing. I received making number 3 in the mail, and it's just as amazing as the first 2 editions. I did not prepare to talk about this at all, so I cannot show anything really. And me trying to find things is just, yeah, like there's this cute pink cushion in here. It's all dot seamed, themed with a in the beginning. There's a blueberry cake recipe in here that I'm totally going to try. There is this cute placemat in here. Yeah, making, it's a wonderful magazine. You should check it out. It's quite expensive. It's it retails for $24, but it only comes out twice a year. So I think that's totally okay. So, yeah, not gonna talk about it more because I really suck at book reviews, so I'm not gonna do them. And I'm gonna have to clear my table for the big part of today's podcast, and that is sewing. I do not have an indie of the week. Now, let's go back in order here. There's no indie of the week because I can't talk about the same indies every week. That's weird. Reading, listening, watching. I finished the first Harry Potter audiobook in German, read by Felix von Manteuffel. He's a different narrator than I'm used to because I listened to the Harry Potter audiobooks about 1 million times before, and they were narrated by Rufus Beck, and he's a very well-known German narrator for audiobooks, and he's also an actor. And his version, I think, is more diverse. He really gives each character their own distinct voice, and it's and Felix von Manteuffel does a great job. I really like his version, but if I had to somewhat get the differences out to you, the Rufus Beck version is more geared towards kids, and Felix von Manteuffel is more for adults, I think, just for the style, how they do it. Good. Yeah, I've finished the first one. I am at the second book right now. And yeah, I mean, it's Harry Potter. You all know what it's about. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm in the second book right now. And yeah, for watching, I have been watching Supernatural because I love Supernatural and it makes me very happy. And I am on season 4 right now. And I actually have not watched anything past season 4. So yeah, I have 2 episodes left of season 4, and then I'm going to enter new territory. And I do have all of them up until season 9 on DVD. So I'm going to watch all of them in the very near future because I love this show. It's just amazing. So now let's enter the big part of this week's podcast. I did a lot of sewing. So if you're not interested in sewing, I hope you all have a wonderful week. If you are, stick around because this is going to take a while. Merlin, du bleibst jetzt drin. So, I decided it was time to finally sew up a lot of things that I had already cut. And I have a box. It's actually back there, here, the red box under my boxy. And I took it out. I looked at everything that was in there. I rearranged it, put it back into the order I want to sew it in. And I decided to get all of the knits sewn up first because they are quicker to make. For a jersey t-shirt, you just pop it into your overlocker. You seam all the seams, you know, with the overlocker, and you do a little bit of hemming with a twin needle and you're done. If I wanted to do the same thing with a woven fabric, I would have to overlock around every single piece to make it not fray anymore. Then I would have to sew it together with a normal sewing machine, press everything 1,000,000 times, and do the hems. So it's about double the amount of time that it takes. And I didn't want to spend a lot of time. I wanted to finish things that I had started. And that's exactly what I did. The only thing that I cut completely new was the first thing I'm going to show, and it is a pair of sweatpants that I made for myself. The pattern for the sweatpants is from Buddha magazine number 11, 2012. It's this issue here, and it's mine. And the pattern is a instruction pattern, you know, with pictures for it, which is very un-Buddha, because they normally give you about that much description and it says, sew your garment. So this is the pattern that I used. The problem with these pants and sewing patterns in general, German sewing magazine patterns, you do have a sizing chart. And when I look at the sizing chart and I have, you know, for a pair of pants, I'm going to go for the size of my hips. And my hips are a bit bigger because I have quite the big bottom. And this pattern goes up until a German size 44, which for pants that I buy is the size that I wear. For the sizing chart in the magazine, in every magazine, no matter which, I have to use a size 48, which is way bigger than what I have. So this pattern goes to a 42, which is already too small for me. So I had to upgrade it a lot to get it to my measurements. And then I made it up, and it is not supposed to have an elastic in the waistband. And this does have an elastic in the waistband. So I made those up according to the sizing chart, to my measurements, you know, the way it should be to fit. And before the elastic, they slid off my husband's bottom. I made them up, I put them on, and they fell back down. I said to my husband, please do me a favor, try these. He popped them on and they slid back down. I was like, well, that's not good. Something must have gone very wrong. You know, I did upgrade the pattern the way I learned in a class how to do, and it's just way too big. So I'm super excited about the class that I'm going to take, where I want to make jeans, because for a top, I know what to do and how to change things to make me fit. But for bottoms, I mean, for jeans and pants in general, I have no idea. So these turned out gigantic. And they still are gigantic. I mean, look at this. I do have a big butt, but it's not that big. So this is the back. What you see is the back. These are very, very roomy. But with the elastic in them, I am able to wear them, and I'm not going to change a thing, because these are sweatpants, which means I am wearing these in my house and not outside at all. And I don't care if they are a bit roomy around the middle or not. So I'm going to leave them the way they are, but I cannot just use this pattern as my go-to pattern, because it doesn't fit. I have to, I'm going to pop my pattern pieces back on the pattern sheet, and I'm going to draw in the line for the biggest size that's given, and that's a 44. It's a 44, so that is what I wear when I buy things. And I'm going to recut my pattern pieces. I'm going to try once more and check if that will fit, because if that fits, I have to rethink about the sizing for pants, because, you know, I've always been super frustrated because they are all way too small for me. And if you've seen full pictures of me, you know, I'm not super tiny, but I'm not super big. So I was always frustrated that I am already too big for a normal size pattern in a German sewing magazine. And I am rethinking that right now, because, like I said, this is way too big after I made it bigger to fit, you know. So yeah, it's weird. But like I said, it's a pair of sweatpants, so it's okay. They do have inseam pockets, just like, you know, normal inseam pockets, the way you do them for everything that has inseam pockets. And I also did those on the overlocker. I didn't bother to take out my normal sewing machine for anything. So yeah, I made sweatpants. They are gigantic. This is the front. Nope, this is the front. And yeah, I'm not happy with these at all, but I'm not going to take them apart. So that's the first thing I made. The pattern is, like I said, from the Buddha magazine. The fabric is from the Holländische Stoffmarkt, and my friend, the Stitchionista, she gave it to me because she was able to go last year in fall, and I couldn't, so she brought that back for me. And I'm going to wear it the way it is. I'm going to pop it on the floor because I have to wash all the things now. So that was really frustrating, let me tell you. So the next thing I made was not frustrating at all. It's a pair of pajamas for my son. This is the pattern that I used. It looks like this. The pattern is from a German sewing magazine that's called Lust auf Handarbeiten. It's issue number 1 2017, and it is a translation from a Danish sewing magazine. It looks like this. This is the pattern that I used, or the magazine. This is the pattern, and I'm in love with this. The fabric, this fabric is so soft and so nice. Yeah, so here it is. It's quite big. I'm actually sure it's too big at the moment. I have not tried it on him because I wanted to show it on the podcast, and after that it's gonna go in the washer. So I did the whole thing exactly as the pattern calls for. I did cut a size 89, 98. Yeah, 98. That's about a 2T, I think, or 2 to 3T. I don't know American sizing. I do not know. It's a German size 98. And it looks like this. I changed a few things, mainly because I thought they did it more complicated than necessary. For the zipper, it has a facing around the zipper. And they did sew the zipper onto the front, and they attached the facing on the inside of the zipper. Yeah, it was very complicated. I didn't really understand what they wanted me to do. So what I did, I sandwiched the zipper between the front and the facing, sewed it down, ironed everything, and top stitched. And I think it's the same effect than what they wanted me to do, but just easier. So I opted for easier, and I'm quite happy with it. So yeah, that's that. That's the one thing I changed. Everything else I did according to pattern. And apart from the zipper, I did everything on the overlocker, the whole thing. And then I did a twin needle around the neckline. And the neckline, as you can see, is very wonky. I didn't manage to get the zipper and the neckline ending here to match up. But yeah, it's the first time I ever did something like this, and I think for the first time it turned out nice. And it is a pajama, so you know he's not gonna go on a wedding with this with it, so I don't really care. And like I said, it's the first time I did it like this, and considering that, it turned out nice. What I had a problem with, as this fabric is really super soft and very drapey, it puckered a lot when I did sew on these zippers. So he has a bit of puckering up here in the front, but it's not bad. You know, as you can see here at the hippo, it's fine. What I also noticed, and that's just because of the cutting, he has all the hippos in the front and he has no hippo at all in the back. But I love the fabric. It's so cute. And it's really soft. I mean, super soft. I kind of want to make a bra out of the rest because it's so nice. So yeah, pajama for my kid. That was relatively new cut. And now for the things that I cut sometime last year. Like these were waiting to be made for almost a year. The first thing that I made was 3 natty tops. It is this pattern here. It's called Natty Top. It's a free pattern somewhere on the internet. I'm sure if you search it, you will find it super easy. This was the first time I wanted to make it. I'm now an L. that was right after I gave birth. So yeah, I made these. I made 3 of these, and I did all the seams again with the overlocker, and then I did all the hems with the twin needle. So for the overlocker, as I had all of them cut, and I did not pin anything, you know, I just laid them on top of each other and seamed. It took me half an hour to sew 3 of those together, and then another 1.5 hours to do the twin needle stuff. So you can get one natty top finished in under an hour, even if you still have to do the cutting, because they are so quick and so easy. So yeah, good. Oh, and it even says on the pattern, this is truly a 1 hour or less top, and it really is. So the first one that I made, I had finished before, except for the twin needling, and I did go for the bigger size, and it was too big, so I cut it back down, and this is now the size that it needs to be. As you can see, I did quite the alteration in the side seams to make room for my big bottom, and these fit perfectly. I know they look weird, but that's actually the shape I have when I'm not wearing clothes, which you will never ever see. So yeah, that's the first one. It has a seam at the center back, which you can possibly see better at the line drawing. This is the back. This seam here makes for better fitting because it is not straight, it is a bit curvy. So this is the back. The fabric is it's small apples. It's a German fabric. I think it's from Swafing, but I'm not sure. And yeah, I did the seaming with the overlocker, and then I did twin needling around all the hems. So that's what it looks like on the outside. And on the inside, it looks like this. I know I could cut this back, but it's not long enough to be seen on the front, so I'm just going to leave it because I'm afraid to cut it and cut into the real shirt. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Now, for all the seamstresses out there, when I do the twin needle, you can see that that is a little, it almost looks like it's piping. Is that normal, or am I doing something wrong? Because I get that all the time. I use a twin needle, and I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be. So please let me know if you are more experienced than me, and I would appreciate your feedback, because yeah, I'm still very new to sewing clothes, or I'm very new back into sewing clothes, because I did sew clothes for myself before about 10 years ago. And yeah, so if you know, let me know. So this was the first one. Another thing I really like about the natty top, you only need 80 centimeters of jersey fabric. That's all absolutely enough. It says in a pattern 1 yard of 60-inch wide jersey, and you do not need a meter. You need 80 centimeters, that's enough. So if you want to make it, do not buy a meter. You will have stuff left over that you're not going to be able to use. Now, the second one I made is this panda one, and it's one of my favorite fabrics. It's called Funky Panda. I think it's by Hamburger Liebe. She's a German fabric designer, and I love it. The Funky Panda came in this red and also in a green, and I'm pretty sure I do have some of the green as well somewhere in my stash. I'm not 100% sure, but like 85% sure. Yeah, that's the second one. Again, with the seam down the back. I could have tried doing pattern matching, but I didn't want to. So, second natty top. And the third one is my favorite. I got this fabric. It's a border print. So I cut everything not on the grain, but you know, like in a 90-degree angle to the grain, which is what you should not do. but with a border print, there's no other way to do it. So, are you ready? Da, da, da. I love it. It is so cute. So this is the front of this top. And it was like one side of the fabric and the other side is just the blue with the clouds. I adore this so much. I think it is so, so, so cute. No idea who made the pattern or the fabric. I bought it at Glaser, which is a German or a Bavarian and Baden-Württemberg based chain of fabric stores. And I do not know where it came from, but it's so sweet. So yeah, these are my 3 natty tops. If you want to check it out, you really should. It's super easy. The instructions are 1 page. Super easy. And it's a free pattern from a size XXS to an XL. I like it. Now, the next thing is a German sewing pattern that I bought. It's from a German indie pattern maker. There are a million German indie pattern makers for sewing. Like really, there is no end. You could use a different one each day and not run out in, I think, 5 months. So yeah, this one here is by someone, I have no idea who it's called because it doesn't say on the pattern. I know I bought the pattern on Davanda. I just don't know. Maybe it's called Schnipp Schnapp. I do not know. This is the pattern. It's the Emma shirt. Looks like this. And I did use a contrast fabric for the yoke. I did not do piping between the yoke and the actual shirt because I did not have special stretch piping for jersey because there is jersey piping out there and I didn't have it, so I didn't do it. But this is my shirt. It's so sweet. I used this flamingo fabric for the yoke and everything else is just black. I did go down a size for this one. I usually, as the chart says, I should have cut a 42 and I did cut a 40 and it fits perfectly. So I'm very happy that I did not do what the pattern said, but you know. Again, the whole thing was sewn on the overlocker except for the neckline that I did with a twin needle. And the sleeves that I did with the twin needle, you know, the edges of the sleeves and the armpits. Because you only have half sleeves for this. And it is really sweet. It's very long, which I like. And I'm gonna make more of these, I'm sure, because I really like it. And for the yoke, you can use up leftovers. You just need a very small piece for this up here. And we all have a lot of leftovers of jersey. If you use jersey for stuff, you have leftovers, and this is not a big piece. So I will make more. It's really nice. Like I said, it's called Emma, and I do not remember who the pattern made. I'm very sorry. And it really doesn't say. So yeah, that's that. Now I have 2 more. The next thing I made was a t-shirt. Now, let's start here. I have all my pattern pieces in here. It's from the Fashion Style magazine, issue number 5, 2015. It looks like this. The Fashion Style is another translation, this time from a Dutch sewing magazine called Nip Mode. This is the German version of it. And I made the last pattern that's in this book or in the magazine. And what they do in the magazine, what I really love, they always have one pattern in there or a 2-piece pattern outfit that they show in different fabrics. So you can imagine what your version might look like. So this is what I used. this is the pattern. I made the t-shirt, and they have another page where they have yet 2 more versions of this outfit. And I really like that. So this is the pattern that I used. And I did not do the wrap thingy. What's it called? It does call for these 2 pieces here. I didn't do those because that's not really what I like. And here is my t-shirt. It looks like this. Up, I have to weave in the end. Because when you're using your overlocker, you have to weave in ends, and I have to do that. So this is it. What I really like about this pattern is you use very small pieces of fabric. You only need 65 centimeters of this, the main fabric, and another 35 of the contrast fabric. And I only use 30 because I did not do the ties. I left those out because I didn't like the look of that. So that's it. Another t-shirt. I really like it. It is very short. It goes barely to my hip bone. So I have to make a pair of jeans that goes up a bit higher. Merlin. Because if I put my hands up for whatever reason, you know, I'm going to be, my stomach's going to be exposed, and I don't like that look at all. So that's the only thing I would possibly change about this, make it 5 centimeters longer. Apart from that, it's amazing. I really like it. I like the fit of it. It's again has pleats in the front, as you can see. Super easy, super quick. I'm gonna make more. So yeah, I still have to weave in the ends on this. So I'm not going to throw it on the floor. I'm gonna have to check this one as well. So I'm gonna have to weave in those ends, and then I'm gonna be able to wash them. Now, onto the last thing I made. It's a pair of sweat Bermudas for my husband. I made a pair last year where I did some embroidery and some fancy stuff, and he loves it, so I made him a second pair. The pattern is by Kibadu. She's another German indie pattern maker. The pattern is called Pa Tom. It looks like this, and this is my version. I did not do the back pockets because I did the back pocket on his first pair, and he said he never uses it for anything. It's just there. And so I didn't do it. I did do the side pockets, as you can see here. They are there. They're quite big and nice. And this is the pants. I had this green fabric left over from his first pair because his first pair is black with green accents, and I had a lot of green left. So I made the second pair in the green. I did not have enough left of the fabric, of the black, to do the accents. So I used the leftover from a dress that I made for myself last year in this amazing skull print. And I made sure to cut those side panels in a way where you can see one full skull, you know, it's, you know, in the width. And I did make sure of that for both sides. So I did a little bit of fussy cutting for these, and for the band I have it so you can see the teeth of them. So yeah, that is the last piece that I did. It's another very easy and very quick make. The only thing I did, and that's totally because I'm an idiot, I used my sewing machine for the pockets. So to make them, you know, the seam as far to the edge as possible, I did change the position of my needle. And then I went to the overlocker, I seamed the whole thing together, and then I popped in a twin needle and I started doing the hem of the first leg, and my needle broke. One of the 2 needles of the twin needle broke, and I was just like, what? Why? What's going on here? Popped in a second twin needle, started sewing, it broke. Yeah, I went through 3 of my twin needles until I realized that I had changed the position of my needle, which meant that the right needle did not go into the fabric, but into the foot of my sewing machine. Yeah, I need to get new twin needles now because I broke all of them. I had to use a jeans twin needle because it was the only one I had left that I could use for the pants. So I did that. I made the I did make the hems with the twin needle. As you can see, something was still wrong because some stitches are bigger than others. And I did also do twin needle around the edge at the top to make the waistband just stay where it should be. So yeah, that was the last thing that I made. Another pair of Bermudas for my husband, and it was the last knit item that I had in my box. So from here on out, it's going to be wovens again, and it's going to take a lot longer to make those. And I got asked how I managed to make all of these things because, you know, it takes time. It's very simple. My husband was home last week and he did spend a lot of time with Tim, so I did have a lot of time to sew. And also, like I just said, all of these are super quick makes because you use your overlocker. And when you use the overlocker, you're like, zzz, done. It's really not that big of a thing. So, and also it was all cut. You know, I had cut all the pieces. So that is a big part of sewing that just was already done. Now, I have to unearth my show notes because they're somewhere down here. That's it for sewing for this week. It's a lot of stuff. And yeah, like I said, this is going to go down significantly because I do not have a whole lot of time on my hands left for sewing. And also, I'm going to do a sewing class. It's going to start next week. I'm going to go there for 5 weeks, once a week for 3 hours. And I really hope to make a pair of jeans there that will fit perfectly and where I could learn how to make pants fit my bottom. That's really what I want. So I do not have cross stitch. I do not have weaving. I do have one thing for everything else, and that is tour de fleece. Tour de fleece is coming up very fast. It's going to start on July 1st, and I think it's going to end on July 27th. Something like that. It's always a 3-week period with some resting days, so I think 27th sounds quite good. And I have not spun anything since March. And I am absolutely not in a spinning mood right now. So I'm not sure if I'm going to attend Tour de Fleece this year, which would be my first year where I'm not doing it since I learned spinning. I just don't know. I don't feel it right now. I don't feel like spinning. So we'll see. Maybe I will fall back in love with it. And maybe I will spin up all the things. We will, yeah. I just don't know yet. I'm not sure. The only thing I do know is I'm not going to get into any of the official teams. If I'm going to do Tour de Fleece, I'm just going to do it for myself. And yeah, I'm not going to have a team for my Ravelry group. And it makes me sad, but it also is just, I'm so much into sewing right now and I just have so much time, you know. I have to decide what I really want to do, and I'm not going to force myself to do something when I'd rather do something else. That is what it comes down to. And if I want to spin during Tour de Fleece, I will, and if I don't, I won't. So that's it. That's also it for this week. Going to stop talking now. And yeah, I hope I will talk to you again next week, not in 10 days time, but in a week. That's what I hope for. I hope I can get back into a semi-regular schedule. Let's see. Maybe I can manage. It would be great. Okay, now I'm gonna stop. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Enjoy everything you do, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.